Okay. Hello, everyone. Well, thank you for coming in the morning. My name is Chris Wang. I'm the CEO of ThunderCore, and today I would like to share with you on how I think we can make blockchain the next big gaming platform. So before I start, I would like to quickly remind you guys what ThunderCore is. ThunderCore is a public, high-performance, EVM-compatible blockchain. And the blockchain is fast, that it supports 1,200 transactions per second, and it also confirms transactions in just 1 second. And this is 1 second finality. The blockchain is also EVM-compatible. That is, if you already developed some application on Ethereum, you could just migrate directly onto the ThunderCore platform, usually in less than 10 minutes. And you don't even need to change the tools at all. It will just work. I mean, you could just use Truffle or use Remix, and all you need to do is change the deployment IP address, and it will just work immediately on our blockchain. And anyone who migrates will be able to immediately enjoy a much faster speed and much lower gas fee. Our protocol is also provably secure. We have a research paper, peer-reviewed, and that's published with a full proof on how our protocol is mathematically secure. So I would like to talk about what's the biggest problem in blockchain right now. Some people might say scalability. Well, is it? I think that's actually not the biggest problem right now. I think there are a lot of new research results, and there's a lot of new companies that make a lot of great progress on solving the scalability problem. So what is actually the biggest problem right now? I think the biggest problem is actually the total lack of user. If we look at how many DAU on blockchain right now, so DAU actually stands for daily active user. And daily active user is a measurement of how popular an application is. And on blockchain, we usually measure it by the total number of daily unique addresses that interact with a particular application. And if we look at the number from DappRadar, the top application has less than 10,000 daily active users. And these are currently the top application from DappRadar. And it ranges from 2,500 users to 9,700 users. And if you look at the number of users on blockchain right now, if you compare this just to, let's say, the mobile space, there's actually a tiny fraction of the users that's on blockchain right now. There's over 1,000 times many users in the mobile space. And in my previous experience, I actually run a social gaming company called Playdom. And when I was running games, all my games actually easily have over millions of daily active users. So compared to the blockchain space, blockchain space really has only a tiny fraction of all the gaming users out there. So today, I want to talk about how we can make the blockchain the next big platform for gaming. And today, I just want to focus on the gaming aspect. Not like for the ThunderCore platform, this platform actually is a general purpose blockchain platform. It can be used for payment, it can be used for decentralized finance, it can be used to build a fast stable coin, and so on. But today, I just want to focus on the gaming aspect. So I think the key of making the blockchain the next big platform for gaming is to figure out how to actually bring the non-blockchain user into the blockchain space. I mean, there are so many non-blockchain users out there. If we could just bring a fraction of those people onto the blockchain, we will have a lot of users. And today, I would like to show you how we have figured out how to solve this problem and what's our solution to it. So this is a graph of the total DAU for the top 3 apps on different platforms. And on here, we have EOS, Tron, and Ethereum. And we also have a ThunderCore on this picture. So ThunderCore, we have just recently launched our mainnet, And we are one of the fastest growing platform out there right now. And if you look at this graph, if we just sum up the top 3 DApps, we actually have more users than any of the other platform out there right now. And this is measured by the daily active user. So it's the daily active unique address that interact with the top DApp. And today, I would like to share with you how we achieve this result so quickly. So before I go into details, first I would like to share with you what is the problem with the blockchain space. Like, why isn't there a lot of users in this space? So basically, to figure out a solution, we need to first understand the problem. And the main challenge is that it's very difficult to onboard new users onto the blockchain space. So for a lot of blockchain applications, users have to first figure out, have to buy some token before they can start using it. And this is very different from the mobile space. For most of the mobile gaming, right now, most of the game is actually free to play. People could try it first, and if people really like it, they can spend the money to buy it. And in the blockchain space, this is very different. I mean, most of the time, people have to figure out how to get token first to start using the application. And even if people decide to use the application, it's actually a huge pain for the user to even just get a token. Now, if you have created some account on Exchange before, you know that there's usually a KYC process where people actually have to figure out how to take a selfie with the passport, with photo, and it's a lot of this is a very somewhat complicated, annoying process, and sometimes you have to take photo multiple times and still getting rejected. And so it's sometimes even if the user really want to pay, it's even hard for user to figure out how do I pay or how do I start using application on blockchain. And the other thing is that for a lot of blockchain application, it's actually people have to use a computer to do it. I mean, if you have to use MetaMask, etc., it's not very mobile friendly. And nowadays, for most of the game, it's very important to be mobile friendly. So our solution to this problem is that let's just address the problem directly. So the first thing is we want to make sure the games on blockchain is easily accessible on mobile. So in this picture, you see one of the mobile application we built, and the other one is a Trust Wallet. And we want to make sure it's easy for people to play the games on blockchain just directly on their mobile phone. We essentially want to replicate the mobile gaming experience onto blockchain. And the other problem people have is that when users want to start playing, I mean, for most of the blockchain games, it's very difficult for users to start onboarding because they have to get tokens. So we really want to make sure that it's easy for people to get on board. And so we want to provide the free-to-play experience also for the blockchain DApp. And our solution to this is we are just going to give users free Thunder token credit to just start to play the games immediately. And people could spend these credits inside the DApp. And in the DApp, they could actually earn real token. So we are actually offering users something even better than free-to-play here. People could actually play game and make money. And this pitch has worked very well for users. Now, besides the fact that users love us, we also want to figure out how to make developers want to build application on us. So why should DApp developer choose us? And one thing we did is that in the previous slide, I mentioned that we give users free credit to play, and the developer actually get to keep all the credit the user spend in their application. So this also makes it much easier for developers to make money because the user don't have to go on some exchange to buy token first. The user could actually just, when they load up the application, they get Thunder token immediately. And for anything they spend, the developer get to keep it. But we go one step further than that. If the DApp developer managed to retain user, we will actually acquire user for the developer. And we will actually run ads for the developer to acquire user into their games. And so developer, all they need to do is to focus on building really good DApp. And the next slide, I will show an example of an ad we run for a particular DApp. So we partner with this company called Game Center Studio. They actually build competition games on the blockchain. What they did is they built little mini games where you could compete with your friend, and you could put a wager against your friend. And if you win, you get to earn all the wagers. And so what they build is very simple mini games structures. So there's a picture in the corner here. So it's something like Tetris type, simple type games like that. And all the games can just play directly on the mobile. And they are one of the top applications on our blockchain. Today, they have over 10,000 daily active users. And this is making them one of the largest games on blockchain right now. And so if you look at all this, how does all this actually benefit us? I mean, we're giving free token to the user. We are giving, running ads for the developer. But what we actually did here is that when we run the ads, we actually run the ads to our ThunderCore hub. So ThunderCore hub is this mobile application. It's this mobile application we built to make it easier for users to get on board. Where once user gets on, we will offer them free Thunder token credit to actually try out different developers' applications. And we also make it easier for users to discover various applications that's already built on ThunderCore blockchain. So for instance, within our wallet, we also offer daily bonus to keep the user keep coming back. And basically, when we are advertising for the developer, we are actually advertising to our mobile hub. And once people get into the hub, they get dropped into a developer's application. So basically, for the user, well, they get free token credit to try out the developer's application. For the developer, they get to list the DApp in the hub, and they get access to the user. And it's even more than that. We actually give users Thunder token credit to try out the different developers' application. And this actually makes any DApp, like listed here, immediately get a set of users to start with. And we will monitor how well these users are performing. And if this user really stay in the DApp and really keep playing, we will actually unlock additional user acquisition fund for the developer to acquire more users for them. And throughout this, we get to build up the ThunderCore ecosystem. We get to grow the number of users in our space. We also bring more developers on board and more users on board. And this actually creates really good cycles for our public blockchain. So specifically, let's look at this chart. So when users come in, they get to play games and make money. So they can play games for free because we give them the Thunder token to start, and they are heavily incentivized to try all the DApps listed on our platform. And for the developer, because for all the Thunder token credit people spend, they can just, they get to keep all the earning. So I mean, it's much easier for developers to make money on our platform. And if they turn out to retain users, we will even acquire users for the developer. And this is particularly exciting for the developer because for a lot of game developers on blockchain, one of the biggest problems for them is to acquire users. And our message to them is you don't need to worry about acquiring users. All you need to do is to figure out how to build a good game or a good application. if you can retain user, we will advertise for you. So all the developer need to worry about is just build a good game and build a good application. Once they did that, we will advertise for them. And when we advertise, we actually advertise users to our ThunderCore hub. And once Thunder people comes in, they will get dropped into a developer's application, and they will get free credit to play. And this will drive even more users onto our platform to play more games and so on. And this really build up our ecosystems. So we are already live. We have launched our mainnet about 2 months ago. And I want to show you the result, the accomplishment we have achieved. So this is the total daily active user number for the Game Center Studio. And we have already over 11,000 daily active users for this particular studio. And if you remember the earlier chart I showed about the top DApp on DappRadar, the top DApp on DappRadar only have about 9,000 daily active users. So this studio actually has more daily active users than any other blockchain out there right now. And all the data is on the blockchain. This is the address on the blockchain, and this is the link. I mean, if you scan the QR code, you can actually look at the actual blockchain data with the actual user to see that this studio managed to get over 11,000 daily active users every day. And this is not just an outlier. We have figured out how to reproduce this across many different applications. In the last 2 months, we have partnered with a couple studios, and we have just tried out the process. And we have been able to reproduce this success to get thousands of daily active users to different applications. And all this data is on the blockchain. I welcome everyone to just go take a look to see that this application really has all these users and to see how quickly we are growing all these applications. And I believe we can continue to grow this application at a very rapid pace. And so if you just end up the daily active user for this top 3 application on our blockchain, there's already over 25,000 daily active users. And this is making our blockchain the blockchain with the most daily active user application. So we have tried out this process for a couple partners already, and we really want to formalize this to be able to do this at large scale. So we are about to launch a developer jumpstart program, and this is a preview for the jumpstart program. Basically, we want to tell the developer, all you need to do is to focus on building very good DApp. And if you could build good DApp, we will actually bring users to your application. Basically, as long as the developer, so the process works like this. So first, the developer build an application, and they can apply to be listed in the ThunderCore hub. And once they are listed inside our mobile application, we will make sure that they get some user to start with. And to do that, we simply just incentivize user with free token to say, hey, just go try this developer's application, and you get free credit to try it. And this naturally brings thousands of users just to start to try the developer's application. And based on these thousands of users, we can figure out how well are these applications retaining users. And if this application is really retaining users, we will unlock additional incentive for the developer. Specifically, we will actually advertise for the developer and drop the user into developer's application so the developer can make even more money. And we already have seen early success in this program. And for us, this is very beneficial for us too, because we are actually growing the amount of users onto ThunderCore Hub and in our platform. So this is really a win-win-win for everyone here. For the user, they get to play game and make money. So this is even better than free-to-play. For the developer, all you need to do is just to build really good DApp, and we will figure out how to get you the users. And for us, we are growing more users and more DApp onto our platform, and this brings a really good cycle and build up our ecosystem. So because of this, we have managed to be able to get the app with the most daily active user just in a matter of months. And right now, we are open for developers and players. So for the developers, we really welcome you to come to our dev portal to learn how to build applications on ThunderCore. And if you are already a developer on Ethereum, it should be very easy since we try to make sure it works with all the existing Ethereum tools. So if you are already building with Truffle or building with using Solidity, building with Remix, you don't even need to change your development tool. All you need to do is just change the deployment IP address, and you can just deploy it on our chain and immediately enjoy the fast speed, the higher performance. And now you could also submit your application to our Developer Jumpstart program. And once we like your application, we will let you in our mobile hub, and we will even promote you to make sure you get the user and you can make money with your DApp. And for the user, we welcome you to try out our mobile hub. And so that you can come here, play games, earn some free tokens, and enjoy the gaming experience on ThunderCore. And thank you. This is my talk, but don't leave yet. Yeah. Don't leave yet. We are actually Elaine is going to come up stage now to tell you more about our public blockchain. And she is going to share with you guys about the next set of milestones on our public blockchain. Thank you.
Can you give me a microphone? This will work. Okay. All right. So lots of exciting developments. I'm very excited. In case you came in late for Chris Wang's talk and you missed it, we have launched our mainnet, and we've been running only for like 10 weeks, but we already have more gaming daily active users than Tron, EOS, Ethereum, and any other blockchain out there. So if you're a dApp developer, especially if you're a gaming dApp developer, and you're not thinking about using ThunderCore, you're really missing out. Okay, and with Chris's past experience, he's going to make our blockchain, as big as mobile games. Okay, so we look forward to that. I have many other exciting announcements to make. Next big milestones for us, and you don't want to miss out on these either. Very exciting announcement. We have open sourced our Pala consensus implementation, and today, actually, the source code is up and available on GitHub. And this is work that came out of Thunder Research, and I would like to give a big thanks to Chao Hao Lo, who helped lead the implementation effort. So what is Pala? Pala is our new fastpath consensus protocol. And in comparison with today's protocol, actually, Pala allows us to switch accelerators seamlessly on the fastpath with no delay. So now we have a considerable decentralization on the fast path itself because we don't have to rely on a single accelerator for liveness. The protocol is extremely simple. Like the really cool thing about this protocol is like everything fits within this propose vote paradigm. And the whole protocol, as you see it, is just propose vote, boom, 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 confirm, confirm, confirm. And we really believe this is the dream consensus protocol. And we want you to come to this GitHub and try the code out. And if you are other projects, you need a consensus implementation, you should seriously consider using Pala. And in our next release of mainnet, we are going to incorporate Pala into the fastpath implementation. Okay. So another big announcement is that you might be expecting open source release, and this is going to happen early next month. And this is going to be our the current release of mainnet for the full node. So please check back for our exciting open source. And a couple other announcements. We are going to release a cross-chain support, and this is going to happen very soon. We have an ambassador program that's already up and running. This is going to allow us to engage better with universities. I won't go into the details because I want to focus on talking about our proof of stake scheme. Okay, but just come to our Medium and our website to check back for the latest updates regarding these programs. Okay, so in the rest of the talk, I'm just going to try to explain how our fastpath committee structure and how the proof of stake design works. Okay, so if you are thinking about becoming a ThunderCore stake miner, this is what you would really care about. Okay, so what are the things that we really care about when we design a proof of stake scheme? There are three things that we really care about. We want the fastpath itself to have a certain degree of decentralization, right? We want to kind of have a broad representation from the committee members. We want the scheme to have economic robustness, meaning it will be very, very costly to attack the system, to break things like consistency. And we want the scheme to be incentive compatible. In other words, the scheme should be game theoretically secure. The best response for any player should be, to participate honestly. So not only do we want to encourage participation, we also want to encourage honest and fast participation. So these are the three important goals that we accomplish in our proof of stake design. Okay, so this is the high-level committee structure. And we actually have published this on a blog post up on Medium, but let me explain this. So the committee structure is the following. So we have 25% reserved seats, and these reserved seats are going to be selected through an open call for participation, which will be released very soon. So basically check back for the update. And for this part of the reserved seats, we really encourage broad representation. Especially, we encourage nonprofit organizations and universities to participate as well. So if you are thinking about becoming a stake miner, this is one way you can participate. Okay, and another way you can participate is through staking pools. And we have allocated 25% of the seats for staking pools. So first, Thunder is going to release its own staking pool service, and this is also going to happen like these couple days. So if like you are individual miner, you have small stake, this is one way you can participate in mining. You can join one of the staking pools. But we also want to encourage third-party staking pool services to provide service. So we are going to have an open call for proposals, and we would like to basically collaborate and support third-party staking pool services. And then the remaining set of seats, the remaining 50%, will be available for open bidding. And let me elaborate on the open bidding scheme. So this is like anyone can put down stake on the blockchain and join the consensus protocol. And the way it works, so first we need a staking mechanism. And the common way to do this is to basically free stake, right? You would, let's say, lock up stake in a smart contract. And the stake is kind of frozen there during the period you participate in consensus. And should you ever, let's say, misbehave and there's cryptographic evidence to implicate you, like your stake can be slashed. So this kind of incentivizes honest participation, right? when we talk to some of our stakeholders, interested stakeholders, one concern with this frozen stake mechanism, which is kind of what every other blockchain is doing, is that, so there's this pragmatic security concern, like when I put my stake in the smart contract vault, right, I would worry about the smart contract security. Like previously, there are multi-sig contracts on Ethereum that have been broken, so you have to be really security aware. I mean, of course, at Thunder, we have had careful auditing for the smart contract vault implementation, including internal auditing by our own engineers and having third parties audit our code. Nonetheless, another concern our stakeholders have is that they need, typically they need an additional account custody mechanism to participate in this kind of a frozen stake scheme. And that actually adds to the complexity of participating. So in ThunderCore, we actually have a new mechanism, which is kind of like a combination of a frozen stake, but also we have proof of age stake. So how does this work and what is the idea? The idea is, in order for the system to be economically robust, we want to encourage people who are long-term stakeholders of Thunder tokens to participate in the consensus, right? So we want to provide a mechanism where you not only prove that you have stake, but you should also prove that you have held onto the stake for a sufficiently long amount of time, and that the stake has not switched hands in between. So this is a mechanism where you actually don't have to lock up your stake in this smart contract vault to participate in consensus. You just have to prove that you have held on to the stake for a sufficiently long time. And of course, if you sell the stake during the middle of the consensus, like your effective stake will reduce. Like you'll be getting less rewards should you ever sell your stake during the middle of the consensus. Okay, so that's our staking mechanism. And another big thing we need to address is like, it's costly for consensus nodes to participate, so we want to make sure that there's sufficient incentive to encourage a large amount of stake to participate in the consensus. And the idea is that if there's a sufficient amount of stake protecting the fast path, then the cost of the attack will be relatively high. Okay, and to ensure this, so earlier there have been research by well-known economists that showed that essentially in the equilibrium state for these blockchains, basically the cost of the attack is in some sense proportional to the amount of revenue these nodes are making. Okay, so we want to make sure that there's large enough reward, and the reward comes from two portions: transaction fees and block reward. Okay, so transaction fees, like we are a high throughput blockchain, and Chris has a fantastic plan for onboarding a large number of users. So we fully expect that in a couple of years we are going to be having a large transaction volume, and even if we just charge a tiny amount for each transaction, there's going to be enough transaction fees to reward the committee members, ensure the economic robustness of the system. So that's, let's say, a couple years down the road. But right now, we are still, gaining traction and picking up users. And like one thing that we are advertising to developers and users is that the transaction fee, like each transaction's fee is really tiny, right? So in the beginning, we may not have enough transaction fees to ensure the economic robustness of the system. And therefore, we are going to supplement the miners with the block rewards. And the way this works is that we have committed to an incentive allocation, and this is part of our Genesis block. And in the first 3 years after mainnet launch, we are going to supplement the transaction fees you get and ensure an equivalent of a 30% annual interest rate for you. Okay. So that's how the economics works. So basically, we are really excited to engage with you, and there are multiple ways you can engage with us. If you are a developer, check out our developer portal. If you are a user, check out our hub. If you want to become a stake miner, check back for our call for participation, which is going to be released on our website and Medium. Yeah, just come talk to us, and we'd love to interact with you. And thank you very much. Okay, I guess Chris and I will be around here if you want to talk.
questions about the talk about our consensus protocol? Do you guys have any question about our plan, our protocol, etc.? Yes?
It seems like what you outlined is sort of the classic multi-sided platform strategy. And I'm just curious where and when you expect to start earning revenue and covering your costs.
Oh, yes, so that's a very good point. So basically, we are having a two-sided market here. There's the user, there's the developer. And we believe more user will bring more developer, and more developer will bring more users. And right now, what happens is that as long as there are more users and more developer, our token will grow in value. And also, people are actually using and spending token inside the application. So we could actually, we're earning from transaction fee, we're earning money from the growth in the token value, and all this will help us bring in more revenues.
Okay, thank you so much for coming.